Very good afternoon to us today. Yeah, as usual, as you know, my name is Henry, and my passion is for us to get the education and knowledge that we need to thrive and succeed in the cryptocurrency space, the blockchain in overall. Now, I want to draw our attention quickly on what is going on in the market right now. We are seeing some relief rally, and people are carried away. People are so pumped up, and some are even going out of control. Reason is because they have not drawn their attention to the facts emanating from the charts. Remember, as usual, I tell us that the charts will show us the facts. People will lie, people will be conservative with the truth, people will not tell you, you know, the truth as it is. They will not give you the facts, but the charts will give us the fact. That is why we pay more attention to what is going on in the market from the fact that we see in the chart. Now, let's quickly move in now. This is a weekly, chart on a Bitcoin and US dollar. This is a weekly chart, meaning that every candle that you are seeing here represents 1 week candle. Now, you see the new week we are right now, we are right on top of that 19,500 as a support. This new weekly candle is standing on top of the 19,500 as a support. Recall, I told us that the 19,500 is our first major support. I come again, the 19,500 is our first major support and our most critical support, which likely will be the last support. Of course, I'm so sure and convinced that if 19K500 does not hold, we are going to touch the final support, which is around the prices of 14,000. Probably little more below, a little below 14K, but around 14K in approximately. All right. Now, what are we expecting? Let's come. The question is, what are we expecting from this chart before us here? What has caused the Bitcoin price to rally? Some people are saying that FTX, can you imagine? Can you just imagine? That is FTX that have intervened to stop the continuous downtrend. Bloody lie, fallacy of its, that is fallacy in its entirety, for God's sake. Go take a look at the dollar index chart right now. The dollar index chart is struggling at the resistance around 1,104. I will go there. Don't worry, I will round up with that. The dollar index is currently struggling there, and it has not been able to go above that 104, 105, 106. And I told us that resistance is dating back 2016, meaning that is not just a walkover resistance. It is not just a easy resistance for the dollar index to break and bust through it, consolidate and move forward. That is why we are seeing this, a cluster of resistance around 106, 107, down to 104 for the dollar index. And as the dollar index keeps struggling there, it therefore means that there is weakness coming into the dollar index. As weakness comes into the dollar index, what next do you expect? Strength will move into Bitcoin, strength will move into the cryptocurrencies. That is why we are seeing this relief rally that we are seeing right now. Take note. It does not mean that when we are in bear market, we will just continuously, sequentially, spontaneously continue to go down. No. In the midst of bear market, we usually see some relief rally. We see some big moves. People are carried away by those moves because of lack of education. They go all in sometimes when they see some kind of mega relief rally in the midst of a bear market. Why? Because of lack of knowledge. Before you know, the next week, they are losing out everything that they have come into the market with. No, that should not be our case. So long as the dollar index continue to experience weakness, the price of Bitcoin will get some relief rally. Right now, what are we expecting? We are expecting that this current weekly candle that we are seeing here, just take a note, just take a look at this weekly candle that we are seeing here. You see this weekly candle that we are seeing here? What we want to see is, we want to see this weekly candle, growing more than what it is right now. We don't want this small body that we are seeing. We want to see something that, moving to around the prices of 23K, 22, 23K. That's what we want to see. If that happens and we close this week, we have 5 days, 11 hours left for the week to close, quite still early, so a lot is still to happen. So we keep our eyes and stay focused on the chart. You understand me? Now let us see if this candle does not move to form a bigger body and we close this week with this tiny body of candle that we are seeing. What is going to happen? We are going to see weakness coming also into Bitcoin. And when that weakness comes into Bitcoin in the following week, the likely probability is that we are going to break below 19K 500. That is what it is. Now, let me draw our attention to the market participants as usual. I always like drawing our attention to the market participants, because what dictates what dictates what the market does is demand and supply. Now, these red bars that we are seeing under here, these ones here, look at these ones with these dotted, circles that I just put here now. These ones are the supply bar. The green ones, are the demand bar. But right now, if you see that, if you take note, with the red bar, which is the supply bar, is far more bigger than the demand bar. In fact, there is no demand anywhere right now. Demand is completely lost out of the game here. The supply is in charge. That is, the sellers are in charge. The sellers are right now in control of what takes place in this market. We are just seeing this week a little demand, coming into the game because of what is going on with the dollar index. Now, take note of this first long bar we are seeing. This first one here that is close to this green now. This one is longer than the one behind. It's longer than the one behind. And and if you take note, this one behind, this one behind here, if you take note, this one drew the market down significantly after it closed. It drew the market down from around the prices of 32,000 down to around the prices of 26,000. That is what happened. Now, if you look at, we are seeing another the previous week now that just passed now, we are seeing another long supply. And you look at what happened. The price of Bitcoin fell from around 26K to around those prices of 17,500. Now we come to a new week now. If this week demand does not step up the game, we are going to see the prices of Bitcoin breaking this support of 19,500, coming down to around 14,000. That is what's going to happen. So we are critically paying attention on what is going on this 19,500 support. If the pressure becomes too much on this 19,500 support, it will break below it. And when it breaks below it, we are going to move straight to the prices of 14,000, which the market is going to bottom out, without controversy, because that is where we have our, real market structure, the macro market structure. That is where we have our macro market structure. So let's pay attention on what is going on the charts, so that we are not taken off guard. Again, I want to repeat to us that you must see some kind of relief rally in the midst of what? A bear market. And that doesn't mean that we are out of the woods. All right, let us just take a look at that dollar index chart. Let's quickly take a look at the dollar index chart. DXY. Let's move there. Let me show us so that we can understand probably properly. All right. The dollar index. This is the dollar index. And if you look at the dollar index chart, look at the dollar index. This is the typical blow off top I told us of last week, and also a double top. We have opened this week on top of the resistance. Now, if this week closes on top of the resistance on the red, and we open the following week with the red, you know, two consecutive weeks with the red, that line, this support trend line may be broken because the pressure may become too much for it to sustain, and it may be broken. And if it is broken, we are going to see another rally in the prices of Bitcoin. That does not mean that we are out of the woods. Please take note. We're going to see another relief rally. Whenever I see relief rally like that, I can go and do quick trade, but I will not go and buy anything for a long time. I will wait for us to move to the red again. I'll wait for the market to become red again before I will buy. Because these are just relief rallies in the market. Take note, too. People are saying FTX stop the downtrend in the market. No, it is not FTX. The market does what it wants. The weakness in it resulted to what is going on right now. So please take note. All right, that is what I have to share with us today. And finally, I want to move to what is going on in our world today as regards the global economy. Inflation figures are yet to subside. Even uh, it has increased interest rates very significantly again. We are seeing that the inflation, you know, rate is still is still remaining high there, and we will expect that the Fed will have to go the extra mile for them to see inflation reducing. But for instead of inflation to reduce, we are seeing that, like what I said, I've said it here a long time ago, I've told us long time ago that this interest rate that they are increasing may not solve the problem. Oh. Problem has been compounded for a very long time. It started since the first tenure of Donald Trump, when they started doing what we call quantitative easing, pumping in dollar into the market to sustain market momentum. And finally, we saw that the market was just going up like no tomorrow. And it has gotten to an extent whereby the currency has come into circulation so excessively that inflation is now the order of the day. So how do they think that within this short period of time that they are planning and they are increasing their interest rate, it will just bring down inflation, indices, percentages? It's not possible that way, because now as down as their interest rates, something is going on also in the real sector where people are losing jobs. People are losing jobs seriously because companies are downsizing. Production is no longer in maximum capacity. And, wages are becoming very useless because people can't do anything with their usual wages any longer. Their wages are becoming very, you can't manage it. You can't manage their basic needs any longer. So what we are looking at is, if this quantitative easing, if this interest rate, because by July they will increase interest rate again. If by July they increase the interest rate again and nothing is happening, they tried in August, nothing is happening. I bet you the Fed is going to be forced to do something, because the month of July and August may likely give a very clear picture of recession. And for the Fed, for them to avoid recession, they will want to do some kind of, they will pivot. They will say, let us stop here for now. Let's stop here for now and let us see what goes on, what happens. Likely they want to stimulate the economy once again to avoid recession. And probably that will be the beginning of another next, the big bull run again for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies. So we are actually observing, looking at what is going on and possibilities, weighing the pros and the cons. We are really, really critically observing what the economy is doing in terms of inflation and recession, because that is going to determine what next for the global economy. And that is the more reason why, because I know the Bitcoin cycles are always respected. That is the more reason why we have to really pay attention to the cryptocurrencies, because cycles are respected so much. Despite what will be going on in the other markets in the economy, nothing will stop Bitcoin. Bitcoin will move and do what it's supposed to do, because right now a lot of accumulation is going on, and accumulation over a long period of time, as soon as the demand surpasses tremendously, significantly surpasses supply, the next thing that we are going to see is the bull run. and this bull run is going to be the mega, the macro bull run. That's what it's going to be. So I just have to share this with us so that we keep tabs and know what is going on, and take our decision as usual. Very intelligent decisions and well informed decisions. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Keep in touch as usual.